Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and £1,000 up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Hi there, welcome to the Racing Post Postcast. I'm James Hill and we've got some quality action to look forward to this weekend. Joining me in the studio is Paul Keeley, and on the line we've got our flying young tipster Tom Collins, and also from Paddy Power, Niall O'Reilly, who'll be giving us all of the odds and hopefully a few winners as well. Right, well, I hope the boys have got past their post-Christmas sherry and mince pies and done some studying, because we've got lots of action this Saturday to look forward to, including some big racing taking place at both Doncaster and Newbury, and over at Leopardstown, where we've got a really cracking race, the Grade 1 Ryanair hurdle. Sam Crowe bidding to get his season back on track there. And we've also got racing taking place on Sunday from Haydock, Lingfield and Taunton as well. All that to come. But first, we're just going to take back over the racing that's taken place over the last few days. We've had some real quality action and a few shock results as well that have had an impact on the Cheltenham Festival and Anti-Post markets. So we're going to have a look back at Kempton in particular on Wednesday, where we had the King George VI chase, Clanders Oboe winning that, a 10th win in the race for Paul Nicholls there, an amazing 10th win, and also a shock result in the Christmas hurdle, where the dual champion hurdle winner Bouverdare got turned over at odds of 1-4 by his stablemate Verdana Blue. Quite a surprise. Really interesting racing, Keels, at Kempton on Wednesday. What did you make of it?
Yeah, fascinating. You know, it's one of those that the King George, I really didn't fancy Mike Bite. I really didn't fancy a couple of others, but I couldn't find the winner.
Yeah.
Well done to anybody who did. But I mean, Clanders Oboe just travelled over all of them throughout, didn't he? You know, and it just
made big improvement on previous.
Young horse. I mean, they improve, don't they? And,
yeah.
You know, they can improve very quickly. And you know, you'd have to think that he's a threat. Although, you know, the way Harry Cobden rode him, then you tell that you know, he knows the horse doesn't do a tap in front, and whether that is going to suit him at Cheltenham, because it's a hell of a lot longer running, isn't it, after the last at Cheltenham?
Absolutely.
So it'll be fascinating to see how he goes. Mike Bite, you can completely forget him now. He'll probably never win another race, certainly not at the top level. He's gone. Thistle Crack annoyed me. I wanted him to run well, but not that well, because he's going to end up going in the Gold Cup. He'd win the Stayers Hurdle doing handstands, but he won't win a Gold Cup because he won't get home, because he puts too much energy into jumping fences, and he won't finish in the frame there. I'm absolutely convinced of that. Champion hurdle, I wouldn't read too much into it. Bouverdare made an absolute hash of the third last, but that wasn't what got him beat. He got sent for home too soon, and he's normally the one, the stalker, who brings that turn of foot right to death, and instead Verdana Blue sat behind him. He went for home, a fair way out for him, and she just sat there and picked him off.
Do you think he'll be better around Cheltenham, Bouverdare? There was a kind of remarks made afterwards that the track might have been a bit too tight for him. I know he's won the race before, but
I think possibly. I think, you know, Kempton has quite a good record of producing winners at Cheltenham, and you've got to remember, I mean, Cheltenham, you might say it's a stiff track, but it's actually a sharp track with a stiff finish. You know,
the ground's likely to be quicker there as well.
I mean, they're on the turn a lot at Cheltenham, right? And you've got to travel. Right? You know, so I mean, if you can travel around Cheltenham, you can travel around Kempton. So I wouldn't say it was that got him beat, but I mean, it did make one mistake, and he got chasing after the leader too soon, I think. Yeah. But, you know, I think they're playing much later next time.
Okay, interesting. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the results of those races have had a big effect on the Cheltenham Anti-Post markets. Niall, how do you make the Gold Cup market now after that King George result? And also, how strong a favourite is Bouverdare following that setback at Kempton?
Yeah, so the Gold Cup presenting Percy heads our market at 9-2, followed by Native River at 5, Road to Respect 8, and then Clanders Oboe is 10, having been 50 before the race. Mike Bite's now to 14-1. Look, he was impressive. I think the track just really suited Clanders Oboe. I couldn't have him at all myself in the Gold Cup. I'm just not sure the track suits. In the Champion Hurdle, then Bouverdare heads to market at 11-8, Lorena 5-1, Samcro 7-1, Mellon 7-1, and Verdana Blue is 10-1, having been 66-1. We actually had a discussion this morning about Bouverdare, because we initially went 6-5 from 8-11. But it's hard to see firms not opposing him on the day. Like I reckon he's probably going to have one more run, probably at Sandown or something. We'll be long odds on. I don't know. I wouldn't be overly keen on backing him at that price myself. It'll be interesting to see how the race tomorrow in Ireland goes.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned earlier, it wasn't just the racing that took place at Kempton. There was a whole host of other big race action. We had Altior coming out and winning the Desert Orchid Chase, a record 16th win in a row for him. Quite impressive performances he's putting up now. And we also had Elegant Escape winning the Welsh National at Chepstow, and a whole host of top quality racing at Leopardstown. Some really interesting results taking place there. Tom, what performances of particular note have struck you over the last few days? What horses have really performed for you?
Yes, I thought Altior was really impressive. Obviously, he went off at 1-8, so he's expected to win easily. He's a fantastic horse, and I really just can't see him being beat in the future at all. He stays 2 miles, stays 3 miles. He's top class, got an amazing engine, amazing ability and resilience. He puts his head down. It's just fantastic. I think he's a better horse than Sprinter Sacra. Top of the Game was a horse that really impressed me. Paul Nicholls was saying that Flanders Oboe, obviously they're going to go to the Gold Cup with him, and obviously that's the target, and they rank him as their number one. But I think Top of the Game is probably a better horse than Flanders Oboe, to be honest. He travelled all over the winner in the Quarto Star. The Bagarra obviously set a decent pace, and he just loomed alongside. He's a big, scopy sort with loads of ability.
Well, I was going to say, Tom, he's a huge horse, isn't he? You wouldn't have thought Kempton would seat him at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely not his track, and everything he did over hurdles was a plus because he's a chaser in the making, and there's a lot of ability in there and a lot of progress to come as well. He's such a raw horse. I don't really know what happened when he hit the front. I don't know if he idled or just tied up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure he does stay to 3 miles, and I think he's an incredible animal, and I think he'll be a Gold Cup contender definitely in the future, maybe next year, maybe next season.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. And anything else? Any other horses you've come to mind at all?
There was, this is a very left field selection, but there was that Ender Bolger horse that ran at Down Royal on Boxing Day called Stand Up and Fight in the Hunter Chase. I think he's won 3 in a row or 2 in a row now, but he really impressed me the way he went through the race, and he beat a decent horse of Jim Draper's called Sizing Cole. He could be a decent betting prospect for Cheltenham.
Excellent. Yeah, well, it's going to be Cheltenham all the way now to March. I mean, we can't wait. The debates will rage on all the way for the next few months. Right, we're going to move on to the Saturday action now, starting off with the 4 races on the box at Donny. And we'll begin with the 1:30, the Mansion Bet Handicap Chase, a 3-mile contest. Niall, how did Paddy Power bet with this race?
So Station Masters are 11-4 favourite. Battle of Shiloh is 11-2. Militarian is 13-2. Another Frontier is 13-2. Terry the Fish 8-1 and 10-1 bar.
And Tom Collins, we'll start with you. What's your selection in this one?
Kim Bailey's Station Master. I know he's favourite, and it's a pretty boring selection, but he was bought to be a chaser. He's got really good bumper and hurdles form. There's definitely more progress to come. He's only had 8 career starts, winning 3 of them. Jumped really well on the 2 chasing starts, though, which suggests that he's definitely going to be better over these fences than he was over the smaller obstacles, where he kind of treated them with scant regard and was paddling through a couple of them early in his career. He handled the step up in trip at Cheltenham last time out, and would have been much closer but for being hampered earlier on in the contest. He had to give £5 to Justice Sting on his chasing debut 2 starts ago, and Justice Sting is a good horse. He's won subsequently and was second in the Kempton handicap yesterday, I think it was. So the form's reading well, and I just think he's the best horse in the race.
Keels, do you think Station Master's got a favourites chance?
I think he's definitely the one to beat. I find it very hard to lump on favourites, as you know. But he's solid. I certainly wouldn't put anyone off him. But I put up one against him. I just think Another Frontier has been running very, very well this season. Run twice at Uttoxeter, won the first time, finished second last time out, beaten a fair way by Crosspipe. But Crosspipe came out and won again next time out. He won his sole start over fences in February at Doncaster as well. So I think he likes these long straights because he takes a bit of a while to wind up, and you can ignore his unseat because he just got hampered at the first, in the middle, in his penultimate run. Horse still going forwards, and I think he's the one that'll be the danger to the Jolly. But I do respect the Jolly.
Okay. Niall, what's your view on this race?
Pretty similar to Keel's. I thought Station Master was very obvious, but I was just worried he put in a stinker last year in the Grade 2 hurdle, and it just kind of puts me off taking 11-4 about him. The one I like is Another Frontier. He's got some winning form at the track. As Keel said, he just bumped into a very well treated horse in Cross Park the last day, with some decent horses such as One of Us a long way behind, and that one was second at Wincanton and Stevens Day, so the form looks relatively strong. He's 7-1 in places, which looks a fair price to me.
Okay, for 2 for another Frontier, and Tom's going for Station Master. Right, next race is a 205. That's a Mansion Bet Yorkshire Silver Vase Mares Chase. This is a listed race. And Lady Buttons is on a hat trick here. She's in tremendous form. And Niall, what are the prices here? Lady Buttons, how strong a favourite do you make her?
She's our 15-8 favourite. Rennie's Girl is 3-1. Drinks Interval is 130. Atlanta Blaze is 7-2. Sister Sybil 14-1, and Got Away is 25-1.
And we'll start off with your selection here now.
Yeah, I'm going to back Drinks Interval here. Now, I thought she ran much better than the distance she was beaten last time behind Magic of Light in a race where Pearl Royale forced her to go a little bit faster than she actually wanted to go, in my opinion. And I think it kind of set it up for those that were held up, such as the winner Magic of Light. She's a very good jumper, and this drop and trip I think will actually suit her a lot. Now, I like Lady Buttons, but she looks short enough, and I actually think she wants softer ground than this to be at her very best. So yeah, it's Drinks Interval for me.
Okay. Tom, will you also be opposing Lady Buttons?
I won't, because I think this race is going to be set up absolutely perfectly for her. Drinks Interval loves going out in front and setting a decent gallop. Tom O'Brien knows her well, and he's often just sends her out in front, which is going to be absolutely perfect for Lady Buttons, who Philip Kirby, who's in absolutely flying form lately. I think he's had 8 winners in the last fortnight, a 27% strike rate or something like that. He said after her last 2 victories that she needs a strong gallop over 2 miles to see her at her best. Now, she's guaranteed to get that here, absolutely guaranteed. She's got the best form in the race. She's got the best top speed figure by an absolute mile. I think it's 147, and her nearest rival is 127. So she's miles in front on top speed figures. And she's just returned to the track this winter in prime condition, and I reckon she'll rack up the hat trick.
Well, Lady Buttons, a confident selection for Tom. Keels, what's your view?
I can see where Tom's coming from with saying that the race will be set up for her, because Drinks Interval is not the only one that likes to go that can go from the front. Both Atlanta Braze and Rennie's Girl race prominently as well. But, and here's the issue, she came out of the Castleford chase at Wetherby because of unsuitable ground, and that was good to soft. Now she's going to run on good ground, right? And she's also going to run over 2.5 miles. It's 2 mile, 4.5 furlongs. Last 2 times she ran over 2.5 miles, she dropped out tamely. I mean, okay, one of them was a grade 1, another one was a grade 3, but she didn't look like she stayed to me. She's going to be running on ground too fast and over a distance that might be too far. I think she has to be taken on, and I'm with Niall. I really like Drinks Interval. I just think she's better than she showed. That she's been really consistent all season as well.
Really good jumper, Drinks
Interval. Yeah, she's a good jumper. Yeah, she's got a fall next to her name, but some very good jumpers have fallen in the past. But she is generally a pretty good jumper, and I think they turn this into a stamina test. Ladies Buttons won't get home.
Okay, interesting. Right, that's the views on the 205. Next up is a 240. That's a Mansion Bet Chase. Just the 4 runners here, but interesting nonetheless. A limited novices handicap over an extended 2 miles. Niall, give us a show here, please.
Yeah, so Ballywood is our 6-5 favourite. Huntsman's Son is 15-8. Kazakh Noir is 130, and Shady Oaks is 12-1.
And what do you reckon on this one, Kills?
Yeah, I think the Fav is pretty much a good thing, to be honest. It beat Capeland last time out. Capeland's come out and won again since. The others just haven't really done it. Was it Huntsman's Son has run way below his hurdles form in his 2 chase starts to date. I just don't think he's up to it. I don't think the other 2 are anywhere near good enough. Yeah, he'll just win. Boring selection, but it's a 4-runner race. It is what it is. It'll win.
Okay, Niall, what's your view?
Yeah, I actually like Huntsman's Son here to beat Ballywood. He's been running some very good novice chases. Now, I know he was disappointing last time, but he did get hampered. I see that stuck a tongue tie on him now. I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference, but it might. On his 4th place in last season's Imperial Cup, he looked pretty well treated off a mark of 135. He has winning form at the track too from beating Slanelock easily in a handicap hurdle last year. So I think he's plenty in his favour. Like, I know that the Fav's form is working out, but he looks short enough to me, so I'm happy to take him on. I've seen some 3-1 around about Huntsman's Son, which I'll definitely be taking.
Okay, and Tom, what do you think?
Another boring selection at Doncaster. It looks like a favourite stay to me. I'm just going to emulate basically what Keel said. Ballywood just looks the obvious one. There are doubts about the others. I'm not sure the tongue tie is necessarily a good thing for Huntsman's Son. More of a slight worry, to be honest. And just Ballywood's taken a long time to come to himself since coming from France, but as Keel said, he beat Capeland last time. Capeland's won since. He was looking for a hat-trick at the time, so he's awesome, really good form. The time was really good as well. It was only slow by 0.1 seconds, I think, and the majority of races on that card were 15, 16 seconds slow, so it was a pretty good time. There's plenty more in the locker. Boring selection, but should win.
Okay, so 2 for Ballywood, and I was taking them on with Huntsman's Son. And last but not least, Donny, we've got the 315 Mansion Bet Handicap Hurdle. And what's the betting here, Niall?
Yeah, so Ennis Coffee Oscar is our 130 favourite, Commodore Barry is 4-1, Wymus Point is 5-1, Ballyboker Breeze is 6-1, Tower View 6-1, Canton Prince 7-1 and 9-1 Bar.
What do you reckon on this one, TC?
Well, again, it's going to be between the two favourites, I think. Commodore Barry for Kim Bailey, again, I thought he was market leader. Well, he is market leader of a few firms, so I was hopeful that my actual selection wasn't going to be favourite this time around, but apparently he is, according to Niall, which isn't good news. But yeah, Commodore Barry is a worthy market leader and really improving this year, but I think he's going to be beaten by course specialist Ennis Coffee Oscar for Emma Lavelle. Fantastic to see her win a Grade 1 the other day with Paisley Park in the long walk. The jumping's a slight concern for Ennis Coffee Oscar, but I mean, the jumping's a slight concern for the majority in this field, I think. Both his victories have come at this track, both his hurdle victories, and he won the Grade 2 River Don in January. He's got decent bumper form. He's been slightly disappointing since, but the return to this track should be the catalyst for a better performance.
Keels, I was quite impressed by Commodore Barry when he won at Savile. Do you think he can follow up here?
I'm not sure he beat much. I mean, he was odds on, wasn't he? He didn't have to beat much. The handicap really put him up a pound. It was just a novice race, wasn't it? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, I think this, the solid form after winning that River Don last year, Ennis Coffee Oscar got put up to 142. And the trainer said then, he's got away with it on the soft ground here. He doesn't really want the ground that soft.
Yes.
Ran on soft ground afterwards in the Albert Bartlett, blew out completely. Couple of efforts over fences, jumped violently right on one of them, then went to Kempton. Started off better, but as soon as he made a mistake, he lost his confidence. So it's the right thing to do, bring him back over hurdles to a track that he likes, ground that he likes, running off a mark of 135. I think he's going to take a hell of a lot of beating. I definitely think they got the right furth. There's one with a bit of back form, Graceful Legend, one of the outsiders that could run well. Another one coming back to hurdles that having been over fences and not really cut the mustard. She also got loose last time before going to post. So you can write that run off. Does need a big improvement on what she's done so far this season, but she beat Jester Jet very easily over hurdles in a handicap at Ascot.
Tough sword, isn't she?
Yeah. When she's right, and the trainer Ben Case, I think he's had 3 winners and a second from his last 8 runners, so he is in form. So it's one that could run well, but I think Ennis Coffee Oscar will take a lot of beating. Okay,
and Niall, your view?
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what the lads were saying. I thought Ennis Coffee Oscar looked a really obvious favourite here when we were pricing it up. He's in for a mark of 135. He's won at the track twice. He obviously didn't take defences particularly well. But yeah, it's his hurdle form from last year. This looks really weak to me. I know Commodore Barry was impressive last night. That was an absolutely appalling race. The second didn't seem to be off a yard to me when I was watching it. But yeah, I don't think that's particularly well handicapped, and there's just nothing else in the race. So yeah, it's Ennis Coffee Oscar for me.
Okay, so Ennis Coffee offered a confident selection there. Thanks to that, chaps. We'll be looking at Newbury next.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and a grand up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Right, Newbury, it's Challow Hurdle Day and 4 races on the box. Again, we're going to start with the 150, the Betway Heed Your Hunch Handicap Hurdle. 2.5 miles this race. Niall, take us away with a show of betting.
Yeah, so Dragon Destraval is our 11-4 favourite. Cur Blimey is 7-2. Subcontinent 5-1. Unblinking is 5-1. I'm Again Ginger 8-1. Night in Dubai 8-1. Rainbow Dreamer 8-1. And John Constable is 20-1.
And we'll go with your views first here.
Yeah, Dragon Destraval is really interesting here. He tanked through his reappearance run at Newbury, and he just either needed the run or didn't stay. I think it was probably the latter myself, as the reports before the race seemed to suggest he was working very well. He drops back and tripped to 2.5 miles here, having been dropped a pound for Newbury, and he still looks just so unexposed to me off his current mark. That Newbury race also looks very strong form, with the second Rock Point winning a Grade 2 on his next start, and the fourth Virginia Chick winning a handicap at Chepstow yesterday. I don't think there's any horse in the field that can have anywhere near as much in hand as Dragon Destraval potentially does, so he's a confident selection for me.
Okay, Tom, would you be as confident?
No, I think it's a very tough race. I think loads have chances, to be honest. I saw there was some money this morning for Cor Blimey, 7s into 4s with some firms. I just think needs more rain, to be honest. But it's very interesting when there's money for a horse trained by Sue Gardner and ridden by Lucy, because they seem to have a cracking strike rate when their horses are fancied. Unblinking's another that could go close, carrying just 10 stone, improving sort. really well handicapped. Maybe prefers good ground. I don't know. I think I'm just going to take a punt on Rainbow Dreamer, although there's a risk that he's going to bounce because he had a first run for a long time, 21 days ago, when he came back, finished 7th. Ran a decent race that day at Aintree. It was a respectable run. It was nothing more than that. Yeah, he showed a decent level on the flat though. Won under Ryan Moore at, I think it was Ascot over 2 mile 2 or 2 mile 4. It looked a useful novice hurdler in the early part of 2017 before getting injured later in the year. Was beaten just 9 lengths by Defi Desoy actually on one occasion. So he's got plenty of form. Just hopefully he doesn't bounce.
Okay. You think this is a pretty open race, Keels? Or
I'm in Niall's camp here. I liked Dragon Destival when I saw him when he first came over, when he won his first race, and he's run over fences as well, and he's got a BHA handicap mark over fences of 143, but he's running 132 over hurdles, and he got now 131. He got that for winning that novice hurdle, which he did with ridiculous ease against nothing. He could be way ahead of his mark. He jumped and travelled beautifully in that first time, and he swung round the outside, going to 3 out, and you think, crikey, he's just going to come up. And then he didn't make any ground between the second last and the last, and then he lost some after the last now. He has won 2 miles 6 furlong over hurdles over fences or hurdles on soft ground in France. So he'd be hard pushed to say he didn't stay when he was going backwards. So I think he just wasn't fit, and he was quite weak in the market because he was set to go off pretty short. So he's just going to improve, and I can't see anything here that's going to be anywhere near as good as him. So I think he'll win. Okay,
Dragon Destraval for Keels as well. Next up, the 225 at Newbury. This is a Betway Mandarin handicap chase. Mandarin, of course, the super tough chaser for football, when won the Gold Cup back in the 60s. And we'll have a show of betting from Niall, please.
Yeah, so Rikers Island is our 5-2 favourite. Ballydyne is 9-2. Sandy Beach is 5-1. Vicha Aver 2 is 6-1. Sir Ivan 7-1. Carol's Destrier 10-1. Aureliac 10-1 and 16-1 bar.
And Keels, we'll start with you here.
I can see why Rikers Island is favourite, because he didn't half win well last time, but he's been really thumped by the handicap before it, and I'm going to take him on. Unfortunately, I'm not going to take him on with anything too big a price, because the two I liked best were Ballydyne and Sandy Beach, and I'm just coming down on the side of Ballydyne. He won the London Masters 3 mile handicap chase at Sandown on his last start last season. He's always been a fragile horse, but didn't see him again since after that, but he was 5th, beating only 10 lengths to Lakeview Lad in the rehearsal chase at Newcastle on his return. I thought that was a perfectly respectable return.
That form was boosted,
First and second in the Roland Merrick, having pulled miles clear of everything else on Wednesday. So I think the form was very solid. Ballydyne had decent form, left-handed tracks with long straights. I mean, he went very close in the River Don over 3 mile hurdles a couple of years ago. I think he bustled up Barter's Hill, didn't he, if you remember, at a big price. And I think, everything's right for him to run a big race now.
Okay, Ballydyne for Keels. Niall, what's your choice?
I found this tricky. Just like Keels was saying, Rikers Island's been fairly hit by the handicapper. I'm going to take a chance on one in Aurelac on first start for David Pipe. Now, he might need this as he's coming off a fairly long break, but he's gone well off a break in the past, and they've stuck cheek pieces on him here, which could also help him. He has some very good form at the track from a couple of years ago. He's second to Beware the Bear and Bellamy to Pictons in more competitive races than this, in my opinion. He's always shaped like this trip will really suit him, and I think he can go well. It's hard to be really confident off the break, but he's big enough price to take a chance on.
Tom, what do you reckon here? Who's going to win the Mandarin?
I'm just going to echo what the lad said, really, about Rikers Island. He is the improver of the field after just 5 starts, but yeah, it's £13 rise, now carrying 12 stone. I think he's one to take on at the prices. I also made it between Ballydyne and Sandy Beach, actually, quite like Keels, but I went with Sandy Beach. Won at this course off this mark in 2016, so he can definitely score. He's definitely well handicapped enough to win. Connections thought he could be a Hennessy horse back in the day, which obviously hasn't transpired, but they must have thought he had loads of ability. He must have been working well at home. He's had his problems, obviously, but he seemed to improve for a wind-up last time out when hacking up. Stays well, jumps well, rates a good betting prospect at around 5-1.
Okay, that's our views of our experts in the Mandarin. Now we've got the big race coming up next at Newbury. It's at 3 o'clock, the Betway Challow Novices Hurdle. Grade 1, a race with a rich history, being won by the likes of Large Action, Denman, Wichita Lyman and Rev de Civila. And we could have quite a hot favourite here. Niall, what's the betting? Champ could be the favourite.
Yeah, Champ is our 11-8 favourite. Can I just say that this is our money back special race, so it's money back if Champ wins the race if you want to take him on. But yeah, he's 11-8 favourite. Caterson is 9-2. Brewing Up a Storm is 5-1. Coulanley is 6-1. Getaway Trump is 7-1. Alsa Mix 8-1 and 14-1 is Nestor Park.
Tom Collins, Champ was very impressive at Newbury last time. Do you think he can follow up here?
It was extremely impressive over this course of distance. In fact, I don't know. I think he's a future chaser who they don't believe is going to be absolutely top class over hurdles, and they think that chasing is going to be his be all and end all, basically. And therefore, I think he's a bit too short in the market to back, because I think there's a lot of horses in this race that are really good, actually. Brewing Up a Storm, I've been following since he made his debut. He's got a massive engine. Step Up and Trip will suit. Experience is the downside for him. He's only had, I think, 4 starts, so I'm going to take him on as well, but he's definitely one for the future. I'm going to go with Tom Lacey's Kate's Son. He's a big grey horse, and I don't know, his bumper form was good, but it wasn't exceptional. But he seems to be much better this season over hurdles. He had to give a penalty away in a good race last time out over this course and distance, and that's not easy to do. And he did it really well in the end. Really game, puts his head down. 2 out of 2 over hurdles, and Lacey's an absolute master at improving horses, as we've seen over the last season and a half. So yeah, I think he's a good bet.
Okay. Keelsey, Challow can be a pretty hot race sometimes. What do you think of this year's renewal? Is it,
I think it could be. I mean, it's one of those. I mean, but Champ ran at such a big level last time. He ran a Racing Post rating of 150, which I think probably makes him the best novice in Britain or Ireland at the moment over hurdles. And it's good enough to have won 7 of the last 10 runners of this race. And on Racing Post ratings, he's got £10 and above ahead of all the others. Now, obviously, he did that in a handicap, so he's running a race that allowed him to show how good he was, whereas a lot of these haven't yet. They've only run in novice company, and plenty of them can step forward. It wouldn't really be my sort of betting race. I think Champ would take a hell of a lot of beating. He's definitely the right favourite. Certainly would be laying him. I like the way Coulanley quickened up to beat Pim at Cheltenham, but you can bet your life that Champ was a hell of a lot better than Pim. And I thought Getaway Trump was quite interesting too, but I'm not going to back any of them.
Okay, right. Well, he's going to keep his powder dry. What about you, Niall?
Yeah, I thought I'd be all set to oppose Champ here, but when I priced the race there this morning, I couldn't seem to take him on myself. That was just a monster performance last time, no matter what way you look at it. And considering he could improve for that run, his potential is scary. He's proven at the track and over the trip, so I'm struggling to see many negatives, bar the fact he was very keen last time. It's a good race, though. They'll all need to improve to get near him. The one I like each way is Caterson, like Tom, who was really impressed with Newbury under penalty last time and looks on the upgrade. I wouldn't fancy Coulanley at all myself, and while I like Brewing Up a Storm, I'd be slightly worried that his one disappointing run came at Newbury in the bumper. So yeah, it's Champ for me. I'll be on Caterson in the without market.
Righto. Right, final race of 2018 coming up at Newbury. It's the Betway Novices Handicap Chase. What's the betting here, please, Niall?
Yes, so Polydora is our 11-4 favourite. When You're Ready, Freddy is 3-1. Wild Blue Yonder is 5-1. One Fits All is 6-1. The Rasher County 7-1. Golden Sunrise 8-1 and 10-1 bar.
And we'll go with you first. What's your selection?
Yeah, I'm going to take a chance on one again here, who's been showing nothing of late in the Rasher County. Now, I read comments from earlier in the season suggesting they were likely to target him at the novice handicap chase at Cheltenham. And if that's the case, they've been doing a good job of getting him on a nice mark. But they'll need to start winning soon if he's to have any chance of getting into that race. He'll need to improve his jumping a lot, though he's gotten plenty of experience now, and Adam Wedge replaces Harry Reid, and he's a jockey I'm a big fan of. He's still only a 6-year-old, and given what he showed over hurdles, running in behind horses like Santini and Euxton Lane, I'd be shocked if he doesn't end up better than his mark of 133. And yeah, I think he's worth chancing at the prices.
Okay. Tom, When You're Ready, Freddie, so impressive at Ascot earlier in the season. Do you think, though, the handicapper might have caught up with him now?
I don't, to be honest. I think he's got quite a lot of ability, and I think he's improving at a rapid rate of knots. Obviously, his jumping's a concern because he was jumping miles out to the left last time out. He somehow managed to win, beating Kildesite, who's boosted the form since. I think going left-handed, obviously, this time is going to help him. He needs good ground, though, so this is probably his last run before Cheltenham. I think Nicky Henderson said that if the handicapper left him off a mark of 145, they were going to put him away for Cheltenham there and then after last time out. But the handicapper's obviously hit him again. Just think he can give weight all round, to be honest. Jumping's a question mark for a few, and it's unsurprising that Polydora is up there in the market, given he's a solid jumper. And, well, I mean, he's going to put on a few shows over the fences. So he's probably the main danger to When You're Ready Freddie, but I think his class will come through.
Okay. Keels, you're a fan of When You're Ready Freddie.
I am a fan of When You're Ready Freddie, but he's won those 2 races at Ascot, and the first one he jumped as straight as a die, and then the second one he went wildly out to his left, and that hints at a problem for me. It's not just a horse that needs to go left-handed. That hints at some sort of physical problem for him to start doing that, so that would worry the hell out of me. As with the fact he's now on a mark of 148 against horses who have yet to show what they can do over fences. So he's going to have to be, pretty good. You know what I mean? We're talking about, if he wins this, he's running in the JLT. He's not running in the handicap anywhere. Yeah. Is he up to that? I doubt it myself. But, the worry again was what to take it on with, because Polydora, as good as he was last time, that was a really hard race. They went hammer and tongs the front two from a long way out. In soft ground, they beat the others by miles, and I'm sure that race may have left its mark, because he was knackered at the end. So that would worry me. And then you got second and third favourites. Wild Yonder is a 9-year-old making his chase debut, having fallen on his last 2 starts over hurdles. One Fits All is an 8-year-old making his chase debut, having fallen and pulled up on his last 2 starts over hurdles. And then you get down here, and if Niall has a bad day, I'm going to have a bad day, because we've been singing from the same song sheet all the way through. The Rash Counter just really fascinated me, and it's a lot shorter with Paddy than it is with other firms. I just thought that that first run was about 15 lengths behind When You're Ready Freddie, Utoxeter, with the race won by Lil Rockefeller. Was a perfectly reasonable start over fences. He's £15 better off for that with a winner as well. Hereford next time, wrong way round, going miles out to the left. When Exeter the next time got hampered, all sorts of problems. Just ignore those runs. Back on a left-handed track. I think it will go very well at a price.
Excellent. Okay, well, that's our expert's view in the 335 at Newbury.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and £1,000 up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Right, now Leopardstown. Leopardstown have had some great racing, as I mentioned, over the last few days, and they've got their final day of their Christmas festival coming up, and 2 Grade 1s. In particular, 1 Grade 1 is a real cracker, but we're going to start off with a 155. It's a Neville's Hotel Novices Chase, 3-mile Novices Chase. Gigginstown have 5 of the 7 runners here. And Niall, if you could give us some betting on this.
Yeah, so Delta Work is our 8-15 favourite. Mortal is 11-2. Blow by Blow is 6-1. Nick Lost 11-1. Judgment Day 12-1. Bend on D 20-1, and Moonshine Bay is 25-1.
Okay, Keels, what's your view on this race?
Delta Work just wins. I mean, he just did really well to win last time. Ever made a slight mistake and then got back up. The horse got back up to beat was Larichberg, who's bolted up, took the scalp of the vastly overrated Mengley Khan the other day. Larichberg's a proper record contender now, I think. And Delta Work, that was 2.5 miles. He's going to be better at 3 miles, which is what he gets. I think he's impossible to impose.
Okay. Niall, what's your view on this race?
Very similar to Keels. I can't see any way this gets beaten. The form obviously looks very strong with Larichberg hacking up yesterday. He jumps well. I couldn't oppose him, even at the price.
And Tommy, you going to go for the hat-trick?
Yeah, hat-trick up. Gordon Elliott's won 2 of the last 3 editions to the race. Gigginstown won 3 of the last 4. Delta Work is number 1 string for both of them and wins in a romp.
An emphatic selection there from our experts. Right, cracking race. This 2:30, the Ryanair Hurdle. Sam Crow, 2 defeats so far this season, bidding to get his season back on track. He's up against champion hurdle runner-up Mellon, Sharjah, who's in terrific form, having won the Galway Hurdle and also the Morgiana 2. Super Sunday. We know how well he goes around Leopardstown, having won the Irish Champion Hurdle last season, and Bedrock, who of course beat Sam Crow earlier in the season. So a really fantastic race here. How do you bet, Niall?
Yeah, so Sam Crow heads our market at 7-4. Mellon is 9-4. Sharjah 7-2. Super Sunday 9-2. Bedrock 14. Petit Mouchoir is 33, and Tombstone is 100-1.
TC, what a mouth-watering clash this is, and which way are you going to go on it?
Yes, fantastic race, isn't it? I'm still disappointed that Lorena's not running. When is she going to come out? I don't know. I
think they were talking about starting her off in a nice, cosy little race at Sandown soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, taking the easy road then.
Right.
I just think Mullins, I don't know why he's relying on Mellon, because I think Mellon may need to run. He's got a good record out fresh, but those 2 races he's won first time out for Mullins have been pretty poor. So I'm going to probably play the forecast of Sam Crow and Super Sunday, maybe a reverse forecast, because I'm not sure which way round at the moment, but Sam Crow obviously has race fitness and ran really well to finish second behind Bouvier last time out in the fighting fifth, although Bouvier did smash him. And Bouvier has obviously subsequently let the form down a little bit. And Super Sunday is just a really good horse. I don't think he ran his ideal race last time out, but I just wouldn't rule him out. The prices, he's always there or thereabouts, and looks a good forecast for me.
Keels, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, Sam Crow at the beginning of the season looked to have the world at his feet, but I mean, if he doesn't win this, you're going to have to...
Yeah, well, I mean, I
christened him,
I rechristened him a bit like I did with Don Poley as Don Slowly, but he's Sam Slow to me. He's a soft ground staying chaser being kept over hurdles because Gigginstown have loads of soft ground staying chasers, and it's absolutely ludicrous. He'll never win as a champion hurdle as long as he's got a hole in his arse, and he's just... just wasting an entire season by running him at 2 miles. I can't see him winning tomorrow. I don't know why he's favourite. Mellon's a far better horse at 2 miles over hurdles. Got a good first time out record. If he's fully straight, I can't see any reason why he won't win. And Bedrock. Bedrock, I don't see why he's 14-1. He's already beaten.
Big price.
Already beaten Sam Crow once. Beaten with a turn of foot as well. If it turns into a bit of a tactical race, then this horse with flat speed who keeps upsetting the odds, then why not a double figure price? But yeah, I'll just be opposing Sam Pro again. He's, for me, and his connections there, also they can do what they want with it. They can send him belly dancing if they want, but he should be running over fences over 3 miles as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, Niall, what do you think about Sam Crow? Where would you go with him?
Yeah, I'd be leaning towards picking him for this. Yeah, he just ran into Bouvier in top form. Now we priced the race. We actually took a position against Bouvier, and we really like Sam Crow. We kind of ended up with egg in our face to an extent. But the way that race just developed, it wouldn't have suited him at all. I don't think he went hard enough, and he just kind of set up for Bouvier. When you looked at, there was some decent horses a long way behind, like Vision de Flow. I just think he's the best horse in this race. I do quite like Mellon, though. I think he needs a really fast pace because he doesn't settle sometimes. Sharjah, yeah, I can't see how he can beat Sam Crow. So yeah, Super Sunday looks a bit too slow at the moment for me, so I'm just kind of left with Sam Crow. I probably won't have a bet though.
Okay, well that's a fantastic race to look forward to. 2:30 the Ryanair hurdle on Saturday. Lots of other Saturday action to look ahead to too. As well as Leopardstown, we've got racing from Limerick, and in the UK there's also racing from Kelso and Savile, along with those two big meetings at Doncaster and Newbury. So chaps, if I could get your best bets for the rest of the day's action, not including your nap here, and we'll start with you on this one, Niall.
Yeah, I just have two. One is Hold a Note in the 12:20 Doncaster for Mick Shannon. Now, I just thought he was really eye-catching at Sandown last time behind a good horse in Nicky Henderson's. He's stepping up in trip here, which I think will bring out the very best in him. Not sure what price he's going to be, hopefully a decent one. And in the 305 Leopardstown, there's a horse called the Holy One. Now, he ran the other day on Stephen's Day or Boxing Day in the race behind Try Again, and Share the Honour was second. He finished third that day. I've always thought he kind of wanted to step up in trip. He steps up to 2 mile 4 here, and it doesn't look the strongest race in comparison to the one he was third in the other day, so he'd be a bet for me.
Okay. Tom Collins, what other horses of interest for you on Saturday?
Just one, to be honest, at the moment, Jimmy, and I'm looking forward to seeing Meticulous beat Mount Leinster in the Leopardstown bumper at 3:40. Mount Leinster's obviously a good horse and ran into Malone Road last time out, and he's really well touted by Willie Mullins. But this Meticulous travelled like an absolute dream on his debut at Killarney, smashed 10 rivals without even coming off the snaff. Impeccably bred, owned by Michael Table, which is interesting because he doesn't own many bumper horses, if any, that I can remember. He's a really exciting type and should be a decent price because I expect Mount Leinster will go off favourite.
Okay. Keels, any more tasty tips for Saturday?
I can honestly say I couldn't find a single thing that interested me outside the TV stuff, so I left it at that.
Okay, great stuff. Right, nap time.
This will not be beaten.
Tom Collins, your best bet of the day, please.
Lady Buttons, 205 Doncaster.
Keels?
Well, I was going to go drinks interval, but I'm not going to go in the same race with the first and second in the betting. So I shall go Ennis Coffee Oscar, 3:15 Doncaster.
Okay, and Niall, if you rounded them off.
Yeah, 150 Newbury, Dragon d'Esterval.
Excellent, great stuff. Thanks for that, lads. Now for Sunday's action.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and a grand up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Right, well, we're now looking at Sunday's racing. Plenty of action on Sunday too from Haydock. We've also got action at Taunton and Lingfield as well. And we've got the New Year's Day racing coming up. 8 meetings potentially taking place on New Year's Day. So plenty of racing to look forward to still. The jump season just keeps on going and going over this holiday period. Keels, is there anything you can think of Sunday or on New Year's Day?
I've got to be honest, I haven't even got round to looking at New Year's Day yet. I mean, you only get the decks a certain time. You can't go through too many. There is one Sunday, 2 o'clock at Haydock, the last fling handicap chase. 3.5 mile handicap chase on every ground at Haydock. Everyone queuing up to see the fast finish in that race. But back to through the thatch of Henry Daly's. Just missed out on the, just balloted out of the Welsh National. Proper soft ground stayer, beaten only 6 lengths by Ramses de Toy in the.
He ran so well.
At Chepstow in the warm up for the Welsh National. I think it just has to go well. Won a race at Chepstow in January, and it made it look really, really well handicapped. And he's only a little bit higher than that now because he hasn't done it again since. But at some point, it's going to click, and he's going to bolt up.
Okay, Niall, anything at all that is coming up in Ireland?
Yeah, actually, I had just one in Haydock that I'd quick scan through. It's in the same race as Keel's. Ami Desbois ran really well behind Ramses de Telly as well, and it's got form at Haydock. I just thought that was interesting. For New Year's Day, the only thing I've had a look at is the Dipper Novices Chase. I actually thought Lost in Translation was really interesting for that. Obviously, his form at the Bag of Roy looks a lot stronger now. I don't think Black Up jumped particularly well, so I think he's opposable. But yeah, that's it for me.
Great. And TC, anything for you?
Yeah, just one on Sunday, and it's just Posh Trish in the 255 at Taunton. She's a lovable mare. She just keeps doing it, doesn't she? She got beat by Lust for Glory, her only defeat this year, and then came out and beat Lust for Glory again, and in really game style as well. She looked like she was beat that day, but put her head down and just ran away from the Nicky Henderson charge, who I really rate as well. I think she's a good horse. It's just she beat. This race was won by Maria's Benefit last year. Actually, it's listed hurdle, but there's nothing really against her this time around. It'd be a watching brief because she'll probably be odds on or really short, but she's just a fantastic horse, and I enjoy watching her. So hopefully she wins.
Excellent. That's the lads' thoughts on Sunday and the new year. Chaps, weekend coming up, and of course New Year celebrations too. Keels, you got anything planned? Pub time?
No, Dad's cabs. I'm afraid my daughter's going somewhere to a party on the 31st, so
Right.
I'm going to have to be up, awake, and
chaperoning her.
sober, so I can pick her up.
Right. Okay. Tom, have you got anything planned? You're a bit younger than all of us, so I'm sure you'll be dancing away somewhere.
Yeah, so I'm working this weekend, but then on New Year's Eve, I think I'm on live tipster, so my shift finishes rather early compared to normal, and then hopefully we've got a house party around my mate's house, so it should be good fun.
House party, I remember those days. I'm getting too old for those sorts of things now. Niall, are you doing anything as wild as that?
No, I had the last few days off, so I'm kind of working a 7-day stretch now, which isn't great, but yeah, it has to be done.
Yes, all these holiday celebrations, they all get too much for all of us in the end. Well, that's it for the weekend's Postcast. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. My thanks to Keels, to Niall and to Tom. Maddie's going to be back with the gang on Monday to look back at the festive action and what's happened this weekend as well. And for footy fans, Bruce is going to be returning on Thursday for the football Postcast as he and the experts look ahead to the upcoming matches, notably, of course, that big one between Liverpool and Manchester City. But in the meantime, hope you have a great weekend. Make sure you back lots of winners and have a happy new year as well. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and a grand up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.